Okay, so for today's video, I'm going to show you two things. The first thing is how do you check how many minutes you've been working on IXL for the week? And the second thing is your new IXL tracker that I'm going to go over. So the first thing I just want to highlight is tomorrow your IXL playlist week 4 is due. Now there's two things that you should know, and it says on your IXL playlist, there's two things that you need. The first thing is you need 60 minutes of IXL, which is what it says right over here. You need 60 minutes per week, and you also need to earn a SMART score of 80, at least 80, so 80 or higher on each skill. And these are the skills that you needed to have finished. So if I go on IXL, this is the home page. Now shout out to Ruby. Thank you so much for letting us look at your account. We really appreciate it. And when you sign on, you see this. Now if you want to check how have you been doing so far on IXL to make sure that you could get a perfect score, okay, without even asking me, you're going to click on Analytics. Analytics is going to tell you two things. Okay, it's going to tell you how long you've been working on IXL for that week and what scores you have on the skills that were assigned. So the first thing that's really important is to make sure that the subject, usually it'll start off and it'll say all subjects. You want to make sure that subject is highlighted for math, because you guys also do IXL with social studies or for social studies. Now the other thing is the date range. So usually when you do this, you'll see that it'll show you how long you've been working on IXL for this last 30 days. But you want to know how long you've been working on IXL for a certain week. So let's say that I want to check how many minutes I've been working on. What you're going to do is go to custom and select the date. So your IXL playlist week 4 was assigned on Monday. So I'm going to click on April 13th. That's when the IXL playlist was assigned. And I'm going to check today, which is April 23rd. That is going to tell me how long I've been working on IXL for these last few days. Now you can see with Ruby, it's going to say 1 hour and 44 minutes, which means Ruby is good to go because she did more than 60 minutes, more than what is assigned or what is expected. But what also you could check is not only your minutes, you could check the skills that you've been working on. So it'll tell you what skills you have been working on with also the score. So if I was Ruby, what I would see is it says percent of change and the skill that that's the skill that she was working on, and she got a score of 91. On the next skill, it was solve percent equations. She got a score of 94, etc. So that's how you could check not only how many minutes you've been working on, but what scores and what skills have you been working on. Now, if we look back at the tracker, so this is going to be actually your new tracker for the rest of the year. I'm going to be updating your IXL grade. Now, just a reminder that IXL is 25% of your grade, and it's honestly hurting a lot of your grades, which is why I'm showing you, like, a lot of you need to be aware that it is going to drop your grade by a lot if you are not taking it seriously. So on the bottom of the IXL tracker, it's going to show you each homeroom. So you have Arkansas, you have Bears, and you have Radford. So you're going to click on the homeroom that you're in. And then there's going to be two things that it's going to be graded on. So if I look to the side, it's going to tell me my grading scale. So this week you only were assigned 4 skills, which means if you did 4 skills with an 80 or higher, you're going to get a 10 out of 10. If you did 3 skills, you're going to get an 8 out of 10, 2 skills, 6 out of 10, 1 skill, you're going to get a 4 out of 10. Now on the bottom it says 5 plus. That means if you did 5 or more this week, you're going to earn extra credit. But also what I look at is your minutes. So if you look over here, if you did 55 minutes to 60, you're going to get a score of 10 out of 10. 40 minutes to 55, you get 8 out of 10. 30 minutes to 40, 6 out of 10. And so far and so forth. If you did more than 60 minutes, you also are going to earn extra credit. And the reason why I'm doing this is to balance out, especially if you are stuck on a skill and it's taking you a really long time, you will get credit for working on it for that long. So let's look at people's work. So I'm just going to say it right now. You can see everybody's grades. And so that is okay. Like, maybe it'll push you. Not really sure. But anyways, if we look at Jonah did a really great job. He earned 4 scales. So he finished his 4 scales. So he gets a 10 out of 10. But he's only done 32 minutes of IXL. So he gets a 6 out of 10 because of his minutes. And so his total points are 16 out of 20, which means he gets an 80%. Okay, so that's how it's going to be graded, and that's Jonah's overall grade on IXL for this week. If I go to Bears, I actually want to go to Radford real quick and show you a few different scenarios. So Destiny, for example, she did 5 skills, which means she got an 11 out of 10, which is extra credit. She also worked for more than 60 minutes. She worked for 90 minutes. So she also earns extra credit, and so she ends up getting a 23 out of 20, which is 115%. This will help your total grade at the end. If you are really working on IXL, I will give you extra credit points for that. Okay, now I also want to highlight before we finish, for example, with Hilgar. So here you have Hilgar, he does 1 skill. And honestly, like, he earns 4 points because he's done 1 skill. But what I noticed was Hilgar also spent an hour on that skill, which means he honestly was really dedicated and it took him a long time, which is real. Okay, so I give him literally 10 points plus an extra point because it'll be out of 10. Because he's worked on it for so long. So he ends up getting a 15 out of 20, which is a 75%. I will not let you fail IXL if you were working for a really long time on 1 skill, and this is to balance it out. Okay, so I'm balancing out. Like, I know it's hard. Some skills are really hard for some of you and it takes you a really long time. Don't worry, I will give you extra credit points if you are working on that skill to balance your grade out. So every week I'm going to be posting this tracker. Please check this tracker because it will tell you the grade. And this is actually updated for week 4. Now, if you notice that you are not happy with your grade on week 4 of the IXL playlist, you do have until tomorrow night to fix your score. And this will be updated by the end of the week. So if you have any other questions, just feel free to let me know.